Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, it's over, bitch. It's over. We're done. I'm going to do that every time we finish a Star Trek show. That's it. It's over. Although,
in this
it's going to be a lot. I'll be surprised if I remember to do that when we eventually finish TNG, because that's going to be a long time from now.
From both normal us and actual release us.
Literal years from now. We finished Star Trek the Animated Series last time. Was the episode? The weird reverse universe thing. Okay,
yeah.
That was it. Okay, that was it.
The one time you don't have a note in front
I
of
don't
you.
need the notebook in front of me. You already know what we're watching. We're watching Star Trek the Motion Picture today.
Yes. A beginning place for most people.
Yeah. This is it. We're watching Star Trek the Motion Picture. This is our beginning of our journey into the Star Trek movies. We're doing the first 6 movies in a row, and being all the TOS movies. I believe all the TOS movies.
Everything we know about them indicates they're the TOS movies.
And then when we're done with those 6, we're going to go into the Next Generation, and who the fuck knows what then? Because we won't have to worry about what comes next for a long time.
Yeah,
so
it's a surprisingly long period away.
Very long time. So we're gonna get into this. I'm very excited for the movie, actually.
So am I.
As far as I know, the first movie isn't particularly well liked, but goddamn, what a poster!
Hey, listen. I'm here because, unlike most modern viewings of the Star Trek universe, I haven't seen these people in a while.
Yeah, it's weird. As far as I understand it, most people just go straight from TOS to this, but we did, the whole cartoon series in between.
And as you said, a couple of times, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, I mean, the personalities are still there. I still love Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner's awkward energy around the microphone. DeForest Kelly's lovely when he gets a chance to shine, but I'm looking forward to just seeing these characters together again on screen, occupying the same space as the actors are. Just the way they interact with each other. There's nothing quite like it. I'm very excited for that.
The animated series does a good job. This is going to be a return to form, hopefully.
Yeah.
Keyword, hopefully.
Hopefully. We're going to find out. So, we're going to get into post-movie thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We are about to watch Star Trek the Motion Picture. And that was Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Was there motion in this picture occasionally?
So we watched it on Paramount Plus, it's worth noting, where they have the director's cut. I saw in the credits they were crediting something for a 2022 edition.
Ooh, that's recent.
Yes, and there were CG artists credited on it, so we were kind of wondering throughout the whole thing, are there updated effects on this? There definitely were.
I mean, even just watching,
you could just tell.
Apparent.
That said, though, there are still some really great. There's still some great original model work from the original '70s version, which is really cool. I'd kind of like to watch the original someday. Even more so than I want to watch the original episodes of TOS that were updated. I kind of want to see, because this seems like I would kind of appreciate those original model effects even more, but whatever. Oh man, the pace.
The pace. Or the lack thereof.
Yeah. Wow. The first 3 minutes kind of took me off guard, but by surprise. I don't know. It was just a star field, just stars floating
and
by. Music. And that's it.
That was the first 3 minutes.
Bringing me to my first really major positive. Jerry Goldsmith does the music for this film. Fantastic.
Music.
I adored the music.
Music is top.
There are a lot of these ridiculously long sequences where just nothing is happening. This Enterprise is going slowly through space, or we're just looking at the Enterprise, or just it's miserable to watch.
Or take the first 3 minutes, for example. We are literally looking at nothing.
Nothing. It's a 2-hour and 16-minute movie. 3 of those minutes are spent just looking at stars right out the gate. And that's all. Jerry Goldsmith's music is very good, though. He makes those sequences kind of okay.
It makes me wonder, and we don't know, obviously. Makes me wonder if he wrote music that's really good and they filled time to show it all off, or he saw the film and was like, oh crap, I need to make really good music.
I need to fix this shit. I need to fix this right now.
Makes me wonder which order that went in.
Yeah. I want to talk about, for me at least, what is easily the best aspect of this film, and that is the whole getting the band back together aspect of it. Like the first half hour, especially, where you're just seeing everyone again. You see Spock on his home planet. You see Kirk and Scotty together. Scotty with a fucking mustache. What?
I know.
You get back on the Enterprise. You see Uhura, Chekhov, Sulu. Leading up to the beautiful Dr. McCoy introduction. Those scenes were honestly my favorite. And that kind of makes me sound like, oh man, the fan service is the only good thing about it. But like, kind of. little bit.
Like, okay, they're not the only good things, but they're probably the best part.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
It does. It really does. But oh my god, on that topic, how good is DeForest Kelley in this? His first scene especially, he gets brought on, he's got this whole fucking caveman beard going on.
And he's essentially just bitching that he was literally in the middle of a vacation, and they drafted him.
Yeah, because I guess he retired pretty much, right? Like seems like he's done at least.
Because what did he say? A little known, seldom used reactivation clause? Or something along those lines?
Yes, something like that, yeah. That of course Kirk would know about because he wanted his fucking doctor back.
Yeah.
Which is great. We make a big deal about Kirk taking the place of Commander Decker on this ship, but also, who was McCoy replacing?
Chapel?
Wait, no, because Chapel wasn't already on the ship, was she?
No, I think she was.
I don't know.
Because why would he bring two different doctors on?
Because Kirk wanted his whole original band back together. That's it. I don't know. I could be wrong.
He's got like a checklist of people he wants on the Enterprise.
Yeah. You know what was really cool actually? Finally seeing Starfleet for the first time ever in Star Trek history. Just seeing Starfleet headquarters, seeing where they are, future space San Francisco. Okay, sure. I'm guessing that's what that was.
Yeah,
Golden Gate Bridge and all.
Yeah. I mean, we knew, if I remember correctly, in TAS, didn't they say that the Enterprise was built there?
I think so. Oh, I think they did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the Enterprise was like a flagship ship. That sounded weird in my head as I said it out loud. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think we finally have Klingons, I believe, without blackface. But at the very least, they finally look like the Klingons that I knew going into Star Trek. They have the ridges on their heads and all that. They speak their own language now. It's a really great sequence. I really enjoyed the opening Klingon sequence.
And it honestly sets up the right kind of...
Yeah.
It set up what should have been the right tone for the movie.
Yeah. Because afterwards, I got everything I needed to know about the technical aspects of this film and how far advanced the motion picture is compared to the original show, just from the Klingon sequence. That's all I needed. The
Klingons weren't just the Enterprise reskinned.
Yeah. How fucked up was that transporter death sequence?
Oh, terrifying.
Those guys got stuck in the transporter and they just beamed back down and they fucking died. Oh my god. Horrifying.
I recognized that happened immediately. I was like, oh, that's just literally the worst.
It was the screams. It was the fucking screams, man. Oh man, we got a nice captain's log in here still.
Got nice. A couple captain's logs.
Great to see. Oh man, the wormhole sequence was so useless to me. Other than establishing Decker as not the complete prick that Kirk wants to think he is.
But they don't. Okay, at that point, the film is setting Decker up to be the captain who doesn't know more but knows this version of the Enterprise better.
Yeah.
But that is the last scene that becomes relevant in.
Yeah, they do the whole sequence. Decker saves them, and Kirk is like, what the fuck were you doing? He's like, I knew what I had to do because I know this ship right now, unlike you. And Kirk was like, oh, okay, you're actually right. No conflict there.
No conflict. Conflict begins, ends.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta talk about my other big positive in this actually. I loved Spock's character arc in this. We learned from his opening scene when he's with the other Vulcans that he's got, I forget what the process is called already, but but he's going through this process that is meant to completely eradicate emotion within the Vulcans. And so he's trying to get rid of his human side. I'm a little upset that the film doesn't quite go into why he did this.
Right, it's left very much open.
Because at first I'm like, oh, okay, it's because he felt that's what he needed to do after his journey with Kirk. But also, that doesn't quite work because then when he does change towards the end of the film.
Right.
He treats it more like, oh, this is what I always wanted, you know?
Dude, you did this for like 10 years.
Yeah, so it's a little weird. I don't know. I'd like to know why he did that in the first place. It was something that he had to do.
Was it like a race call thing?
Yeah, like did Papa Spock come in and be like, "Hey, son, you gotta go get rid of all your emotion now." You know?
Yeah, like there's so many possibilities to why he did this, and the film doesn't address any of them.
Yeah. Although it did make for a really great sequence when he first gets back onto the Enterprise and like everyone seems like, "Oh my god, it's Spock." I especially loved just the way Nichelle Nichols played her reaction to seeing him again. She was lovely.
It's just this gasp that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't know. You just felt like it was just like the last person anybody expected to see on the ship there. Great moment.
It almost feels like he had a very public out.
Yeah.
Like
Like they had like a ceremony scene, like, oh, you know, farewell, Spock, have fun getting rid of all your emotions.
Right. It feels like everyone's treating this like you're back, unlike like if he just sort of disappeared in the night.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone knew he was going. His return's a big deal.
Yeah.
Unlike Kirk, who everyone's like, oh hey Kirk.
Yeah. But so then, like, when McCoy sees him, like, you know, McCoy's ready to fucking banter with him again, the way that they used to, but, like, Spock says literally nothing to him and just gets straight to work. And so Spock's arc throughout the film ends up becoming that, like, he is, like, finding the side of him that he found previously back in TOS, back when, you know, we saw that great character development that we talked about so many times
and
back in the original show.
And when we watched the movie, and Spock's and like has like basically zero reaction to everyone around him.
Yeah,
we're like, oh, this is just so sad.
It's so sad, yeah, because you saw Spock actively change.
I mean, maybe that's why he did this.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like maybe like Spock really did feel that maybe it's what he had to do because he owed it to his Vulcan heritage. But then when he saw what a positive effect maybe the Enterprise had on him and the people on the Enterprise had on him, that changed him for the better. And I mean, maybe I'm thinking about it also recently because I did edit the Britain. We did release the Britain Circus video not that long ago.
For us.
Yeah, the Britain Circus video that has that gorgeous scene where McCoy is talking to Spock about how he's really afraid to let his human side take over one day. But we literally see that in this movie. Spock lets his human side win. We see Spock cry. Like, I mean, still for a logical reason.
Right.
You know, he cries for the death of a logical being, pretty much. But I don't know, I find that fascinating.
I mean, his character arc is so poignant and like, it's if you've seen TOS, like if you were a fan and you saw the film, like it's so hit home to the point that when Spock enters like the lounge area, I guess, he's not like, he doesn't go Jim, Bones, he goes Science Officer Spock reporting, Captain.
Yeah.
It is the most cold opening I think I've ever seen Spock give.
Yep.
Compared to the very end, when everyone's having an end of episode zinger.
Yeah, they literally do that at the end. I love that. McCoy delivered a baby, you know, just like we're doing that. It's funny.
And he's with it. He's joyful again.
Yeah. Oh man.
But if you hadn't seen TOS, I don't know why you're watching the movie, but if you haven't...
Well, I mean, as far as I understand, you know, the movies are a good entry point for new viewers, but I appreciated this a lot more having seen all of TOS and TAS
but
before.
Let's say you haven't.
Yeah.
You get a good sense of what Spock's character arc would have been.
Yeah. Also, apparently Spock can, like, sense emotions like a Jedi now.
I would say Star Wars had clearly had its influence on this movie.
Yeah, which is worth noting that, like, I know that they didn't just make a movie because Star Wars happened. Like, Roddenberry had suggested it pretty much the second that TOS was canceled. But Paramount was like, oh, no, let's try another series. And it didn't work. And so they're like, let's try another series. And then Star Wars happened, and they were like, oh, okay, about that movie? You know? Star Wars, well, I think it was both Star Wars and Close Encounters that showed them that, like, oh yeah, like, sci-fi like this can actually be profitable.
And it clearly was.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
cool.
It's just worth noting that it might have had some influence on the scripting.
Yeah.
Specifically, the race of already known empaths.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, let's get back to negatives.
Yes. I feel, and sadly, there's more to talk about.
This film just becomes The Changeling at one point.
Yes, like
it does,
right down to the way it basically concludes itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously, so there's another woman that knows Decker that comes onto the ship named Alia, and after they pass through, what the fuck happens? That
a cloud.
They start to enter the thing that is approaching Earth, and so Alia disappears. And then when they find her again, she has become a probe for this thing called V'ger.
She's just dead, by the way.
She's just dead, and they comment on it like once when she's first introduced, and then never again. They imply a romance between Decker and Alia very early on, and
they do it through the funniest line in the whole film, I think.
Which one?
When she goes, my claim of celibacy is still on file.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, so they imply that romance, and then like Decker learns that she's basically dead later, and he's like, well, allow me to make friends with the probe, I guess.
And you know,
he has no reaction to the fact that his old lover is dead, but alright.
If anything, he seems like it's an opportunity to make romance happen.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
It's a bit of a weird... His characterization at that point kind of goes not down.
At that point, they're just setting Decker up for where they want him to end up in the film, not where he should actually naturally go as a character.
No, naturally, he should be in charge by the end.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he should be in charge by the end. Although it is pretty convenient that the person that Kirk took over for just pretty much dies by the end.
Yeah.
I say pretty much dies, but Kirk makes a point to say that he doesn't die and that he's missing.
Disappeared, but we'll get around to that.
Well, I do like the implication of that ending where Kirk is like, oh yeah, they're not dead, they disappeared. Because there's that idea that, oh yeah, they are a different life form that we will come into contact with again eventually. Which is a cool idea. I kind of like that. But yeah, anyway, so it becomes the Changeling because V'ger is looking for its creator, just like in the Changeling, and
it actually has a pretty similar backstory.
It does, seriously, yeah, and that it was like an old human probe, which is actually based on real human probes, specifically because the probe's name is Voyager, which you did look up as we were watching the film.
Yeah, I had to check.
Because Voyager 1 was a real probe at the time. Do we have a Voyager 6 these days? I'm guessing we do.
I don't know for sure. I didn't look it up.
If we do, it's probably named that way because of Star Trek.
Yeah, if we do, anything about it is done specifically because of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But Voyager 1 was definitely a real thing. That's the one with the golden vinyl on it.
Yeah. But yeah, just a small thing that I had in my notes here I forgot to mention. So we got rid of our flip phone communicators. They're now on our watches, which is kind of cool.
It's neat.
I like that. That's one of the things I really enjoyed about this is just seeing the ways that Starfleet has actually advanced in the apparently only 2.5 years since the 5-year voyage.
I mean, Kirk became an admiral in that time, so
Scotty grew a mustache. McCoy grew a fucking caveman beard. Come on, it was great.
I like to think that wherever he was, the like Starfleet set like a squad to pick him up, and they had to literally drag him from whatever he was doing.
Right. We get a Spock neck pinch in the movie, which is nice. Speaking of, right after that, I love the sequence where Spock is going out and he's like finding, and he sees the source of V'ger,
which isn't even really the true source because of what the ending does.
Well, yeah. But he sees where V'ger comes from, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is the human form,
yeah.
Which is a great...
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
It's a great foreshadow.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's really cool. I have on my notes here for a really poignant scene, but I wrote V'ger can't feel, and then I have in parentheses, duh. But I'm talking about the scene where where Spock wakes up in the bed and he holds on to Kirk's hand and he's like, "This is what V'ger can't have. That's what V'ger is missing."
He's like, what is his line? His line is, "This simple act is something beyond its comprehension."
Yeah. Oh, fucking beautiful. Oh, I love Spock so much. What a great character.
That is also the moment Spock truly warms up in the film.
Yeah, that's when he changes. Yeah, that's not long after the crying scene. It's fucking brilliant. Let's see. Oh yeah. But just back on Star Wars influences. There's a whole plot line where towards the end where V'ger is going to destroy basically a planet. It's Earth, but it's going to destroy a planet the Death Star connection, I'd say it's pretty valid.
It's a pretty valid comparison.
Yeah. I like the whole sequence where Kirk and V'Ger are basically in a standstill, where they're like, well, I will tell you about these things if you stop threatening Earth, and like, I will stop threatening Earth if you do this for me.
And like, Kirk continue like, no, everyone, we can leave the bridge.
You know,
and
doesn't McCoy say like V'Ger learns fast?
Yeah.
It's great. Very fun. Decker becomes the computer hubby, which is great. There's why do Decker and Ilia, I guess V'Ger, why do they explode when they become AI people?
You know what? I don't know. We just watched the film and I have no clue.
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like it's a convenient excuse to get rid of the big set.
Yeah. I just really like the film ends on with Kirk, you know, the whole like out there, you know, Kirk is just there to explore. There's this cool idea actually where that Kirk is he desperately just wants to be back on the Enterprise because that's all he's ever wanted. He has his whole crew back by the end, including Janice, which we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah,
but Janice is
not.
back.
We neglected to mention
and that's really funny, all the way back from season 1, which is fun.
Briefly, and she seems to mostly be confined to the transporter room.
That's fine as long as she's here. It's
a step up from a yeoman anyway.
True. A female yeoman. Isn't that the character he's talking about when Kirk is like really out of character?
Yeah.
He's talking about Janice, yeah. It's weird. Anyway.
Well, that's a long ago now.
A long time. I forget what episode that is. But anyway, what was with that little tagline that ended the film? The human something is just beginning.
The human journey has just begun,
yeah,
I think it was.
It's weird. What was with that?
I don't know.
The Enterprise will return.
I think, okay, could mean a few things. It could mean in-universe, like in the Star Trek universe, that the human existence has only just really got started.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it could mean?
Yeah, well, not human existence, but like the human exploration of space.
Yeah. Human exploration of space could have really just got started.
Yeah.
That's what it's probably what it's saying.
Probably.
But in more of a in a real world situation, it's probably just like, don't worry, more's coming.
We're on the way. No worries.
Something will be released within the next 2 to 5 years.
Yep. And that it will. So which we're going to talk about next time, which I'm very excited about. It's Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which
the
is
only thing I knew about before going into this whole thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's where we're going next time. That was the motion picture though, which was a time.
It had its ups. It had its downs.
Yep.
More downs than ups, unfortunately.
But still a solid enough film. Something that I could really enjoy as a big fan of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially considering that first like third of the film, you know, being so focused on the character interactions. You know,
yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that. But anyway, I guess that was that. That was the motion picture. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to join us next time when we continue the Star Trek movies. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.